We welcome you back. If you're just joining us, it's the Buzz Mondays edition, and we've been joined by yet another member of panel this afternoon. Surprisingly and amazingly so, she is a cobbler and she's also a social critic. It's a pleasure to have Nkiru Emodi with us on the show. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for though you came late, but it's all right. Thanks for coming anyway. All right, so we did give out the numbers to interact with us on the show, and also you can also do that on social media.
Yes, using the hashtag The Bars. That's on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Galaxy TV, and also on Twitter, Galaxy TV.
All right, and remember you can watch repeat episodes of the show on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Galaxy TV Nigeria and we're
Voila.
there. Okay, so Nkiru, we're moving to the second topic of discussion for today. The Nigerian community in South Africa on Sunday urged its members to adopt safety measures ahead of a planned protest against foreigners by South Africans. A leaflet circulated on Sunday tagged Mogale City Monday shutdown said that there would be a protest against crime, drugs, and human trafficking in some parts of South Africa. And that brings us to the issue of, this continuous fight between Nigerians in South Africa, especially Nigerians who live in South Africa. They are always under constant attack. What's your take on this? Let's start with you, Nkiru.
Okay, I really don't know what to say concerning that, but I'll just chip in some certain things. We are Africans, and I believe we should always live in love and unity. But if there's a problem between the Nigerian folks living in South Africa and South Africa, I don't really, how do I put it? I don't really know how to explain what the fight is all about. Probably they feel insecure having Nigerians there making or progressing in their community, and they don't want that. You understand? And they want them to leave, but they should all know that
well, the issue in this particular regard is they're accusing Nigerians of having gangs and also peddling drugs. And also a Nigerian has been accused of having abducted and raping a 16-year-old South African girl. So the allegations are quite serious. Okay, maybe Mr. Ikem should take it from here. It'll give you time to calm down. All right, Mr. Okoho.
I think what is happening in South Africa, I cannot discuss it in isolation of how we have regressed as a nation. If we had fully harvested the investments we made in the anti-apartheid struggle, we would have been leaps and bounds even ahead of South Africa, rather than that country being a heaven, a destination of choice
for Nigerians
in search of their destinies. It was the failure of the Nigerian state that occasioned that southward migration of Nigerians to South Africa in the first place. We haven't diplomatically managed all the things. Nearly all the people who ruled South Africa from 1991, when this man, Nelson Mandela, became their first post-apartheid president, spent their time in Nigeria. In UNN, where I studied, I had classmates who are from South Africa, who were in Nigeria to study on scholarship. They were all over this country. The likes of Thabo Mbeki, this Jacob Zuma, all of them were in exile in this country, fed by our government, taking care of all their educated elites, schooled abroad, because they couldn't get into white schools, white-dominated schools then. That said, if you have been to that country, you should somehow understand them, why their people are reacting. One, the black South Africans are not very well educated. So the jobs that they ordinarily should be getting
that are available are taken by Nigerians.
Taken by Nigerians, by Zimbabweans, because Zimbabweans are highly educated.
Highly.
And other countries around that place. So that is why they rebel against foreigners. Not
to mention the women. They seem to like Nigerian men a lot.
No, that is fundamentally economic. You have a husband or boyfriend who is not economically very productive, and next door neighbor is a foreigner who works daily and earns a lot of income, enough to spend. Normally, survival instincts must push you towards that person first for survival before love and whatever that means. Then again, I've been to that country twice. I've seen certain things that I don't know whether as a Nigerian I should say it on air. But there are a few things that Nigerians in that country are doing that should give even the government of Nigeria some concern.
Really?
Yes. I was in Cape Town on a visit particularly, and we were a group of journalists. And on the eve of our departure, we stayed in one guest house, we had a common purse. We said, okay, what do we do with this money? You can't share small round and let people take home. And we decided to just have a drink. I went with a colleague to a particular supermarket to buy brandy or whiskey. And at 7 p.m., they were no longer selling alcoholic drinks to anybody. I saw a Nigerian, he was making a phone call. I heard him speak Igbo. I went to him. He didn't connect with me until we went around and we were going back. He now came back to me and introduced himself as an Igbo man, and we told him our problem. He took us to a place in Cape Town where we bought that thing, and it's a Nigerian that owns that joint.
Wow.
Okay.
Against the rule.
Against the law.
This particular person had been in South Africa, but that was 2012, for 7 years. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't do anything. Properties, land was sold to move him there, and he's not coming back home.
Wow.
He's waiting for
Stuck
that
in the
windfall.
system. Okay.
Where is that windfall coming?
Let's bring in Kiru back into the discussion. All right, so we're back now.
Yeah.
So let's actually look at the issues Mr. Ikem raised, on South Africa becoming a destination of choice, for a lot of Nigerian youths.
I have not been to South Africa before. Neither have I left the four walls of Nigeria.
Okay.
Not because I can't leave, but what am I looking for outside when it can be developed here? So most of us see, okay, fine, that we want to travel out to get greener pastures and all that. To me, I don't see, it doesn't make sense to me. Do you understand? Because what you can harvest out there, you can actually bring back in here. He was making, I got to understand from what he was saying, making a point that most of the Nigerians that have left here actually don't do useful things there. I have, okay, let me leave South Africa. I have an uncle that was like, he wanted to leave Nigeria by all means, that he wants to go out and everything. His sister told him that I would take you there and show you what Nigerians do for a living. He didn't stay up to 2 days. He was trying to come back.
Yeah.
Do you understand? We don't know what we have here, but we feel, okay, going out there would get a whole lot of things and all that. No man wants to build a house and a stranger just walks in and just take over everything. So that's the problem they're having there in South Africa, from what he said. Do you understand? So they have investment, they have their rules and regulations, they have their laws and all that, and you come from your own country to come and nationalize there, living your home there. Most of them don't even do anything there. I've actually heard some stories about some people that have left Nigeria to South Africa, and the stories are not nice. They don't do good things for money. You get just few of them, very few. So.
And that's something that's an impression I really want a lot of us to actually get corrected, to actually correct, because there are still some Nigerians that are still outside the shores of Nigeria. They're actually doing good, and they still get to do their legit work. It's just that the bad ones gets to come out in the news
more than the ones that are doing good.
Say that, but this time around, a lot of the union in South Africa, that's the Nigerian union in South Africa, has actually come out to say that the Nigerians that they are going to say that being accused of rape and all these
Drug
things,
trafficking.
no one has actually caught anyone. Do you understand? So it's probably because of most of their jobs, like what Mr. Ikem said, talked about there. That a lot of people are probably just lazy. Their men could be lazy, and Nigerians, they would want to work.
Yeah, that's true.
Even it's snowing outside the country, and you get to still see Nigerians still working because they have bills to pay and they need to come and bowl during the festive season.
Rape
Was
is
it-
one
is that
thing
rape?
Yeah.
they cannot accuse
Accuse
Nigerians
Nigerians.
in that country.
Okay.
That is giving a dog a bad name
Just
because
to
you want to
hang
hang
it.
it.
Okay. Well,
Rape
why can't a
cannot be-
Nigerian rape outside the shores of Nigeria? Why not?
Well, historically, I'm not saying they can't, but in South Africa,
percentage is very low.
the news that normally come out is about South Africans actually committing that crime. So in terms of profiling, they can't use rape to profile Nigerians. It is something that is much more
That they do
towards
themselves.
their end.
Yes.
If they say we are fast, if they say we come to the environment and dominate, that is what Nigerians do
Yeah.
everywhere. You have 2 or 3 of us, even the way we talk, you will know from the taxi that these guys, and our energy level is very high. But rape is not what they can accuse Nigerians and I'll buy. No, because around that place, Nigerians can afford to pay for even their wives to leave them. So the issue of rape doesn't come
it
up.
doesn't
The
make
typical Nigerian in South Africa makes money. You may not begin to ask other questions how they make the money, but they
Make
money.
So, but the question now is, why can't we make this relationship work? There are businesses owned by South Africa and South Africans here in Nigeria. Nobody really goes around molesting or harassing them. But over there, we see houses, shops, businesses owned by Nigerians are constantly under attack. They're being burnt down, and some of them, injuries are inflicted on them and all of that. Would you say the government of the day is doing enough in terms of smoothing out what the issues are, so that Nigerians who are there can feel a bit safer?
Again, it comes back to what I started with. The government here, not just this particular one, but those institutions whose jobs are to look after the interests of Nigerians domestically and outside are not up to speed with their duties and responsibilities. Diplomatically, we have been disastrous in managing the affairs of Nigeria and the life of Nigerians. Kill an American in South Africa, attack an American in South Africa, and you hear the kind of response they will give you. We don't feel as much commitment to protecting the Nigerian life as we should. We don't feel as much sense of duty to advancing the cause of the Nigerian interest as we should. And that is where our institutions should come in. When they respond to these things, it is just the plastic diplomatic language without effective follow-up actions. But I should be seeing some people summoned, I should be seeing some people particularly penalized, or certain general actions that will spread heat across certain groups of people, I won't mention names, so that responses will happen from that side. But when you're talking about those companies here, South African companies working in Nigeria, go to those South African companies.
Yeah, Nigerians working there.
Nigerians.
More than 90-95% of the workforce are Nigerians.
Nigerians.
Go to the foreign companies in South Africa. Chances are you will have a majority of foreigners working because the competent manpower are not available internally.
Internally.
So the people are
So
rebelling.
is it now our fault that we're hardworking? Do you fault the average
No,
Nigerian
they expect you not to
for
flaunt
being
your
hardworking?
wealth.
It is not our fault,
It's not.
but we are in a foreign land. We need to
pipe them.
So you do like the proverbial chicken, you know, in a foreign land, you stand with one leg. Oh, wow.
But you know, Mr. Ike, you know that's not going to work.
I get what you mean.
You know that's actually not going to work, because if you've actually been to a club where you get to see Nigerians, there they get to enjoy themselves and they want to show off.
Nigerians, they like to ball.
That's Nigeria.
They like to ball.
But for the purposes of the businesses they do there, they need to
lay low,
manage it a bit better. After all, most of them didn't go there to naturalize. They went there because there are opportunities, and whatever they make there, they
get the return.
They send back home. So
okay,
for
do you agree?
Those of us, they are dependents. You know,
okay, do you agree Nigerians have to lay low?
There's no way.
I'm not saying lay low. I'm not saying lay low, but there have been incidents where our people came out face to face and were, you know, fighting these guys. They were all in videos captured and pushed on social media. I think they should manage it better, and I think most importantly, we should start looking around this ecosystem for those opportunities. Here, you just introduce her as a cobbler. I don't know how many ladies in this country who would want to be introduced as cobblers. But at the end of the day, what does he do? He brings in money. There are those opportunities. This thing was made here by a Nigerian. The shoe I am wearing was made by somebody I had not known except that I saw him on Facebook. There are those opportunities here. We
also
just need to look
to
closer home, and then nobody will ask you how you're balling.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand? You're balling at the same
balling safely
rate
as every other person.
It levels out.
All right, Kiru, last words on this topic.
Like I'll just continue from where he stopped.
Okay.
Like what I said, going out to look for what you can actually get here. So they should come back home and do whatever it is.
Well, I guess the government actually needs to put in something better that will actually make a lot of people want to come back home.
No, you don't have to wait for the government to put something
like
better.
electricity.
I didn't wait for the government.
You have to search for that.
You could do some certain things locally. I was watching something on Facebook where someone was trying to get electricity locally for using a potato.
Yes, I've seen that video.
So we don't have to. We don't necessarily have to wait for the government to actually do everything. If I was waiting for the government to do something, I won't.
But that's it. There has to be critical enablers. There are some of us who function in very extreme environments. There are some of us who need moderate environments. There are some of them who need things to be laid out for them practically
before they can.
For them
That's
to see the future.
That's true.
So government has a critical role to play. If you have power, chances are you'll be doing a lot better than you're doing now.
That's true.